Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it's time for another episode of the Dadbod to Daddy training vlog, and today was chest and tricep day. Again, my workouts are pretty simple. It's just a focus on flat and then incline benching, and then of course tricep extensions. So in keeping with what I normally do, we ramp up to a heavy single. You guys kind of know my routine. I always bench 315 every week, and if I feel a little stronger, I'll go a little heavier and then see how it feels. I do a heavy single. I have a minimum I hit every week on the big three because this is basically power building, and then everything else is all about strength and bodybuilding work, obviously geared very much towards physique and aesthetics, although I am doing a lot of low reps on the big exercises, mainly because I just want to keep that tension high and I want to be able to recover from all of it while cutting right now. So for me, again, it is a lot about mechanical tension, but keep in mind we always do rep work on isolation stuff to fill in all those little gaps. So I mean, I literally isolate almost everything with at least a couple sets every week, right? Chest being, I only did one isolation set today. So what we did on this, and of course that's a little sloppy, this first set, I don't know why I was catawampus, but the 315 felt pretty good. I felt like it wasn't 100% all out max, or the 335 I mean, but it was heavy enough. Keeping in mind, guys, this is all flat back now. I'm benching flat back with no wrist straps, all that stuff, lighter than I used to be. So when people point out, well, when you did 365 a little over a year ago, wraps, belt, arch, and I was 20 pounds heavier. Okay, so just an FYI. I did add some carbs back into my diet this weekend, so I'm back up to 206, but I'm happy with that. I'm actually really happy with that. So again, my diet's going to be a little more balanced here moving forward. And by balanced, I mean in the sense that I'm not going to do ultra low fat or ultra low carbohydrate at this point. I'm going to be in a very, very small calorie deficit. I fast every day, and when we do that, I don't think it's necessary for me to approach that perspective, to work, oh, let's drop the fat as low as possible, let's do this. So I'm going to just focus on, again, a nice balanced diet at this point. It's going to be all whole foods, but I'm going to eat healthy fats every day. I'm going to eat very, very starchy, complex carbs with plenty of fiber. So I'm trying to avoid stuff that has much refinement. So it's kind of like, in short, guys, kind of a, chicken, brown rice, and avocado type diet, if we want to name it something. Those are staple foods for me. And again, fat-free dairy and stuff like that. I'm throwing in a little bit of eggs because I have some, but it's not going to be more than a couple eggs a day of whole eggs. So again, it's just kind of what I'm doing there. But again, brown rice is going to be a staple carbohydrate for me. Maybe a few sweet potatoes. All right, for the incline, you guys saw my warm-up. And then I decided, let's go heavy today and see what 245 feels like. And I was only able to get triples. Like you guys can see, those are 0 reps in reserve, because watch that last rep each time. I am grinding to lock it. You see me shaking. You see the bar slow down. Okay, those are basically would be failed. If I went down on another rep, even if I took a couple seconds on those, it would just probably stick on my chest. So those are 0 rep in reserve sets. The benching was pretty similar, especially the last one. Okay, and that's kind of what we're doing here. I want to get strong at the incline. I know that my upper chest, at this point, as I assess everything, I feel like just my biceps really need the most work. I don't feel like my triceps are that bad anymore. I got to keep pushing biceps. So biceps will get the most isolation. Okay, biceps are going to get 2 types of isolation every week. Push them hard. But I do feel like the upper chest does need a little more work. So incline is going to be a focus. And I finish it off with incline flies. Why? Because we didn't do anything over 5 reps for chest. We did all heavy work, and I want to make sure I get those last deep fibers, get a little bit of metabolic fatigue, but we don't need to go crazy on it. But I just did a set of incline flies to failure, focused on a stretch. And that's the thing people notice, that yes, that is my scapula and everything put me in that position. That is my full range of motion. Notice I'm pausing at the bottom. I get a deep stretch. This is actually going to give me DOMs, just an FYI. But again, just want to finish getting that last bit of pump and fatigue there. And then we went to extensions. And I decided this week, because I've been comparing how they feel back and forth. I do like skull crushers, but I'm only going to do one real big, serious, hardcore tricep exercise. Because we do 3 types of presses every week. I'm going to overhead press heavy on shoulder day. I go all out. I want these to just be one big tricep exercise that builds my triceps, hammers them into the ground, and that I can push to its limit. So these sets were taken right up to no reps in reserve, the first two, and then I did rest pause. Pretty much had to grind through form breaks on these a little bit, so it is failure because the form breaks down trying to move it. And then so I did this with 105, got 10. I'm like, let's go up. And then we start talking 115. That's the heaviest I think I've really done for triceps. But doing that full extension, that one that goes behind the head, make sure we get that long head of the tricep and everything. Those they just hit my triceps different. And I do love skull crushers, and I like that lateral head pump. And I feel like my lateral head's come up. I was noticing it feels bigger when I was laying in bed yesterday or this weekend. But I do need the whole thing to work. And these just give me DOMs. Like, these make my triceps hurt. When I started incorporating these a while back, I had 3 weeks straight of triceps DOM. Like, they never went away. They were 7 days a week. So I feel like I know they hammer my triceps super hard, top to bottom. Doing it in this manner, biomechanically, we know it does. And I don't need a lot of them. I just need to push them really, really hard. Okay, so that's what I did. And then we get up to this last set, which I included twice because we have to get to 8 minutes. Right? All right. So the final set, we did the same thing. I got to 8 and then form broke, and I even hit it on the uprights trying to lock it because I couldn't. So again, putting into perspective that it was pretty much muscle failure at that point. Couldn't even lock it out. So I had to rack it, rested a couple seconds, and then did another rep. So we did it for rest pause. So again, I have a feeling, just based on what I normally experience, I'm probably going to have tricep DOMs tomorrow. And then we'll see how that affects my overhead pressing on Wednesday, but that's okay. We'll live with it because I know that this is super effective. And that's been the one reason I went over to the Skull Crushers last week and avoided really doing this lift, because I know it works, but it leaves me sore as hell for days when I pushed it hard in the past. And now I'm pushing it even harder. So I'm hoping, though, because I'm only doing 3 sets, hoping with only 3 sets that will be minimized. But if it isn't, then we just accept that. My triceps will probably just grow. So we keep moving forward with it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.